Hi there, it's Angie, and I'm here to do another video on the iLet pump that I was using. Unfortunately, I'm in the process of sending it back. I just could not get it to work for me, and so I was just going to kind of give you a rundown of why I think that happened. I am 85% sure it's because of the 6mm cannula that they have. They only have 2 infusion sets, one with Teflon and one with a steel needle. And the Teflon kept kinking on me, and I tried the steel needle, and it did work part of the time, but then, like the first night I had it, I still went very high after my dinner. I tried to walk and walk and walk, and it didn't do anything for me. And it did slowly go down, and finally got down by breakfast. But I think I just had coffee with some milk in it and a little sugar-free chocolate, and it still was it was going higher and higher after breakfast. And I'm going to put in a graphic here to show you what my 24-hour was after I went back with a steel set. It was horrible. It was an average of 160. I was only in range 55% of the time or something like that, 50, yeah, with 27% high and 9 very high. So it wasn't great. I did the next day do one little cheat, which I know you're not supposed to cheat on this, but I was reading up because I was trying to figure out why it just wasn't figuring it out. I mean, it should have known that my after meal highs were still high, and so you'd think it would give me more, and it was giving me more. And I saw a little blurb about if you change the weight, it doesn't change the algorithm. It just changes how much insulin it will give you. And that kind of made me wonder if it just wasn't giving me enough insulin. So I did go in and I changed my weight. I changed my weight up to 15 pounds heavier than I really am. And I did not lie when I first put in my weight. I put in my actual one. I even weighed myself, made sure that it was the right weight, and it was. But I put in 15 pounds heavier just to see if I would get better readings. And miraculously, it worked. For the next 24 hours after that, it was perfect. It was, and here's a graphic of my 24 hours after I changed the weight. Great, 97% in range. My average was 110. I was like, this is it. It's working. It's great. Except for then it didn't. It went back to the highs after meals and just wasn't working correctly. And that made me think that I just am not absorbing the insulin correctly from those cannulas. Because I could go back and look, and you could see how much, hey, I'm beeping. You could see how much insulin it was giving you throughout the day for the algorithm for the blood sugar you were having. And it was going up. It was giving me more insulin, but it just wouldn't go down. And I can usually take a little bit of insulin, go for a walk, get it down 100 points in a half an hour. I mean, with no problem. Do it all the time. And it would not do it. I walked 23 miles in about 3 days trying to get my blood sugars down, and it just did not work. And so I just think it was the cannula. And so, my final conclusion is it probably works great. It's hard to give up the control, and I thought that I was one who didn't need to control it. I was happy to just let it do everything. But there are times, especially when it's a stubborn high like that and things like exercise are not helping, it's hard not to try and cheat. And so I think if they get a cannula that is longer than 6mm, if they get a 30-degree 13mm cannula, I would try it again because I want to see if it would work when I'm actually absorbing the insulin correctly. And so I think I might do that. I'm going back on the Tandem right now, and I'm going to, if that crashes and burns tomorrow, I'd probably go on the Omnipod just to see how that works. And there's a couple other new pumps that are coming out. And so with that, if you have any comments or questions, I would be happy to answer them for you in the comment section. But other than that, if I go back on it, I'll put another video up. But if not, hopefully this will still help if you're looking at it. And don't take this as it happens to everyone, because I honestly think it was the 6mm cannula. So if you're already using one, then it's probably going to work fine for you. But just didn't work for me, and that's about it. I guess I'll see you later. Maybe if they come out with another cannula.